Hi, welcome to a video on two-stage op-amp design. So let us try to understand, okay, what is the op-amp, okay, why we are trying to develop a two-stage op-amp, and what are the design parameters to consider, and the process of designing. So we know that op-amp is a differential. It has got two inputs and one output. So since it has got two inputs, so this is how we write the representation of the op-amp. It is going to have one non-inverting terminal and inverting terminal, and of course there is one output. We call it as V plus, V minus, and this is the output. So this is a simple symbol of op-amp, but within this op-amp, okay, there are a lot of circuitry that is there involved. Since it has got two inputs and a single output, so it should be capable of accepting a differential input, and it should give a single-ended output voltage. So these are the very broad requirement of a op-amp. So let us try to understand, since it has to accept a differential input, so naturally the input has to be a differential amplifier. We all know that, okay, differential amplifier will certainly take two inputs, and okay, let us write the extended block diagram version of this op amp from symbol to a block diagram version. So let us have the first stage. So this is stage 1 of the op amp, so where you have naturally a differential amplifier should be the input stage. So this will certainly have a non-inverting terminal and an inverting terminal, and the output of this differential amplifier will be fed to subsequent stages, because we know that differential amplifier has got a very unique advantage of rejecting the common mode signal. So because of that particular advantage of differential amplifier, it is being used as stage 1, even though it may not give the desired gain for this op amp, because usually op amps will be having a gain of 10 power 4 to 10 power 6 or 8. So this is the range of voltage gain we are looking at. So this is the open loop gain of the op amp. So when there is no feedback for this op amp, we are looking at this much amount of gain, but a differential amplifier may not give such a huge gain. So but one of the important parameter of this differential op amp, which should accept the differential input, will be certainly fulfilled by this differential amplifier. But in terms of gain fulfillment of 10 power 4 to 10 power 8 may not be possible by a single differential amplifier. So we will going to have intermediate stages. So this is stage 2, we can think of, or you can simply say it as intermediate stages. So this is intermediate. So okay, these intermediate stages can be a single stage, you can have a multi-stage amplifiers. So their role is to accept the single-ended output from a differential amplifier and to increase the gain. The role of this intermediate stage, which can have n number of stages, is to certainly boost the voltage gain of this amplifier, because we are looking for an open loop gain of 10 power 4 to 10 power 8 range. And finally we're going to have a final stage. So this final stage, because we know that output resistance of this op amp should be as small as possible, it should be able to drive too many heavy load, meaning that it should be capable of providing sufficient amount of current for the load, all those things. So this is that output stage which will take care of reducing the output resistance, providing the sufficient amount of current for driving the loads. So this is the output stage, which is usually a power amplifier type of stage, which is not a part of this particular scope. So in this two-stage amplifier, two-stage operational design amplifier, what we are talking is, we are certainly talking about first stage, which is a differential amplifier. Even though I said that this is an intermediate stage, which we call it as stage 2, you can have n number of amplifiers to reach a gain of 10 power 8. So what we'll do in this two-stage op-amp design is we certainly take up, so in this two-stage differential amplifier, or in the two-stage op-amp design, so this is in this two-stage op-amp design, we just basically concentrate on interfacing or cascading. So this is differential amplifier and one CS amplifier. So there is one common source amplifier so that we can get good CMRR and a very good open loop gain of the amplifier. So we're going to have a differential amplifier followed by a CS amplifier so that we can able to get the desired high gain amplification along with very good immunity for the noise. So in this two-stage amplifier, of course, we're not touching the output stage, which is like boosting the power capabilities of this entire signal. So in this two-stage differential amplifier, we just concentrate on these two stages. Okay, let us move on with this differential amplifier come this. So we know that differential amplifier will certainly realized using a resistive load. So this is how we write it, and we're going to have a tail current source, and this is typically, if you say this is plus minus, and you're going to have, of course, this is VDD, and you can have it as minus VSS. This is the reference current, and you have it as inverting terminal, and of course we know that if this is RD and RD, if these two are M1 M2s, either I can take a single-ended output voltage and like V02, or I can take V01, that is the differential output voltage. But what we are interested in is this amplifier, this differential amplifier should certainly have large gain. So naturally this resistive load differential amplifiers are having a limited gain. So of course even if you take a single-ended output voltage, so what you can think of doing is you can just connect this to one more CS amplifier. Of course I'm not writing the what is that designing, sorry, the biasing part of the CS amplifier, assuming that you have a biasing and you get the final V0. So this is RD, if I write it as RD1, RD2, RD3. So this is your differential amplifier followed by a CS amplifier. So we are just restricting, we are considering only the resistive load differential amplifiers. We know this resistive load differential amplifier has got its own disadvantages in terms of very less gain and all those stuff. So this is a differential amplifier followed by a CS amplifier, so should constitute a two-stage op-amp. But since these resistive load amplifiers have a very limited gain, we'll just move from this differential amplifier, which is resistive load, to active load differential amplifier and active load CS amplifier. So we know that of course CS amplifier can be realized. We know that even if it is a resistive load CS amplifier, I can write the CS amplifier using either if I write this as Vin, so I can write this as VDD, and this can be the output voltage if I use an NMOS transistor as my active transistor, or I can use a PMOS transistor for realizing CS amplifier. So I can type this as this is my RS. Okay, this is again RD. This is because this is drain, this is source, and this is still gate. So both of them are CS amplifier, but this is realized using a NMOS transistor, whereas this is realized using a PMOS transistor. So keeping this in mind, we shall realize, of course, we know that we can able to replace this resistive load by active load, meaning I can write a CS amplifier with active load as I can do it like this. You can see now. So this is my input voltage, and I have my active transistor. This is my VDD, and this is V0, and this is my bias voltage. This is an NMOS transistor, and this is V0. Now you can see this is a CS amplifier with active load. Now this, suppose if you say it as M1, M2, M2 acts as the load. Now M2 acts as the load, because if you consider the gain of this amplifier, it will be minus GM1 multiplied by the R out. That is, R out of this amplifier is R01 parallel with R02. So it is R01 parallel with R02. So this will be the gain of the amplifier, which will be pretty good because the values of R01, R02 will be very high as compared to your these resistive values. Okay, keeping this in mind, let us try to develop a two-stage differential amplifier, sorry, two-stage operational amplifier with an active load differential amplifier and an active load CS amplifier. So let us try to do it now. So let me write this is my now, instead of writing a current source as my reference source, I try to realize it using a current mirror circuit. So this is my current mirror circuit. I can have, okay, this is, you can just have some source here. This is my current mirror. This is done here. This is the output voltage, and this is PMOS, this is PMOS, this is NMOS, this is NMOS, and this is, you have it as V plus, and this is V minus, and you are taking output voltage here. This is connected to VDD, and let me say this is going to a CS amplifier with PMOS as the active transistor, which will provide, of course, whatever biasing was there. So this is, you can call it as VB, because VB can be same one or it can be designed to a different value. This is again NMOS, this is PMOS, this is my final output V0. Let me say this is an intermediate output voltage V0 dash, V minus. Okay, let us name the transistors. Okay, I can name this as okay, I can name it as, so of course naming can be specific. Let me just see. Okay, let us continue this. So okay, we have named the transistor like, okay, M1, M2, wherever the input is given, and M3, M4, and of course this is the naming of the transistor. So of course from our earlier studies, so we know that the gain of this differential amplifier is nothing but, so if you're writing what is the AV of the differential amplifier for this particular circuit, we know that it is actually GM1. Suppose if I say this is stage 1, suppose if I say this is stage 1, let me call it as GM1 here, where GM1 is actually equal to the transconductance of M1 transistor or M2 transistor. We are basically assume that the dimensions of M1 is equal to M2, the dimensions of M3 is equal to M4. That's what is we are assuming. Since M1 and M2 dimensions are same, their transconductance GM1 is equal to GM2, which is equal to GM of the first stage. So let me say it as, this is GM1 is equal to GM2. This is GM1 is, this is Roman 1, which is for the first stage. So now I have the gain of this differential amplifier as GM of stage 1 multiplied by the resistance of stage 1. So when I say resistance of stage 1, this is when you are looking into the circuit from the output. So let me call this as R1. This is R1 means, okay, the output resistance of stage 1. So naturally R1 is nothing but R out of stage 1, R out of stage 1. So from our earlier courses, we know that the output resistance of a differential amplifier with active load is given by R04 parallel with R02. So I can write it as R02 parallel with R04 is actually the resistance of stage 1. So I can typically write it as, since GM1 is nothing but GM1 or GM2, so the actual values will be GM1 into R02 parallel with R04, but in terms of stage wise I will write it as GM1 multiplied by R1. So this is the resistance, this is the gain, this is the gain of the amplifier. So coming to stage 2, so because this is your stage 2, this is stage 2 you have. Of course, in some cases you may get the bias voltage from the same current mirror, or you may can have a different voltage. That depends on the required design. So this is not a very particular one. You can either short this, or you can simply write it as V bias. So that will not change your analysis. So that will only change when you are doing the simulation. The voltages may be slightly different to achieve the desired thing. So then we have the gain of CS amplifier. Gain of CS amplifier is now given by GM2, that is GM of the stage 2 multiplied by R out of stage 2. Now I will again write what is this R2. R2 is nothing but R out of stage 2, second stage. So we know that if you have an active load CS amplifier, the resistance seen from here, that is seen from this point, which is nothing but R2, which is nothing but the resistance of this looking up here and looking down here, because we know that since it is since you're looking towards the drain with source AC grounded and this gate is also AC grounded, we will see a resistance of R06. So looking down here, it is R07, so that I can write it as R06 in parallel with R07. So what is now GM2? GM2 is that GM of that transistor to which the voltage is applied, or the AC voltage is applied. You can see V0 dash is the output from your differential amplifier. It will be applied as an AC signal for this circuit. So GM2 is actually GM6. So I can write it as GM6 multiplied by R06 in parallel with R07. These are all the magnitudes of voltage gain of differential amplifier and voltage gain of CS amplifier. So what is the overall voltage gain? Suppose if you are writing it as, suppose if I say, so I have an input voltage being applied between these two plus and minus terminals. If I say this is V in, if I want to write what is V0 divided by V in, of course we know that I'm simply writing the magnitude here. Of course here it is so and so, whereas AV of CS is actually negative. So voltage, because we know there's it is going to have a phase shift of 180 degrees. So I can write V0 by V in, that is V0 by V in as equal to AV of differential amplifier multiplied by AV of CS amplifier. So I can further write it as, so AV of the two-stage op-amp is given by, so I can write it as GM1 R1 multiplied by GM2 R2. Suppose if you are looking at the magnitude, but this expression for the overall voltage gain of two-stage op-amp, which is GM1 R1 and GM2 R2, of course, which can be further written as GM1 R02 parallel with R04 multiplied by GM6 R06 in parallel with R07. So let us just go back to your circuit and try to find out, because looking up here is R04, this is R02, that's why we had it as R02, R04, and the output resistance is R06 and R07. That's what is here. And the transconductance is either of these two, and transconductance of CS amplifier is GM6. So GM6. This is simply giving what is the DC gain of two-stage amplifier. Two-stage amplifier. So when I say DC gain, you can clearly understand here there are no capacitors coming in the series path. What I mean to say is, when we actually discuss CS amplifier in our earlier courses, so you might have seen that even if it is an active load or a passive load amplifier, suppose if you have an input voltage which is coupled to this CS amplifier with some coupling capacitance having some biasing resistors. Suppose if I say this is my this is PMOS active and this is V0, and you have some biasing here, so on. So suppose if you write the frequency response of this, we know that it will going to have a cutoff frequency, and it will going to have one more cutoff frequency. It will going to have two cutoff frequencies. This cutoff frequency is decided by what is the coupling capacitance and what is the value of input impedance, and this capacitance is decided by what is R out and C out, or it can also be decided by if you of course, because of this parasitic capacitance Miller effect, we're going to have, so C in also comes into picture. So C in also comes into picture, which is nothing but R signal and C in. So you're going to have a R signal here, so naturally at the output at higher frequencies we're going to certainly have two poles. Let me write it as one pole here and other pole is coming somewhere here. So these two are the poles which are due to R out and C out, and C in and R signal. When I say C in, so it is actually the Miller capacitance of this this feedback capacitance. Basically what we have is even if you neglect that by this parasitic capacitance due to this feedback, so we're going to have a capacitance, effective capacitance of C out here, and you're going to have effective resistance of R out, which will constitute one of the pole, and this pole is especially due to a coupling capacitor which is there here, and because of this R1 R2 parallel coming, which will make an input resistance. But if we can see the difference between this CS amplifier and this CS amplifier, while coupling the input voltage to this active load CS amplifier, which still uses a PMOS transistor, we have a coupling capacitor. But if you can see here, the design of a differential amplifier is made such that here the DC voltage is made as 0 volt. The DC voltage is made 0 because of the what is that? Of course, this need not be ground. This can be minus VSS. Suppose if you have 0.9 volt and minus 0.9 volt, we can certainly adjust the biasing and the dimensions of these transistors such that you may end up with a 0 DC volt. When you have a 0 DC volt without capacitor, you can able to couple this AC signal onto this CS amplifier, meaning this avoids the usage of a coupling capacitor. The advantage of not using a coupling capacitor is this pole which was due to CC and Rin will not be there. So naturally the frequency response of this will no more be having this lobe, but it will have something like this. You can see it will not at all have this cutoff frequency. It will start from a DC. Meaning this frequency response is different from this CS amplifier because it doesn't have a coupling capacitor. Since it doesn't have a coupling capacitor, its frequency response will be something like this. It's going to have a frequency response something like this, and its cutoff frequency is there because of this R2 and the output capacitance at this point. So let us say there is a parasitic capacitance of stage 1, let us say it as C1, and there is a output capacitance of this second stage. Let us say it as C2. So we have two capacitances. One is due to stage 1, other is due to stage 2. So since we are looking at the frequency response of stage 2, naturally the resistance and capacitance associated with stage 2 will going to decide what is the cutoff frequency. So it has got a gain of AV of CS amplifier, and the cutoff frequency, suppose if you say it as omega P2 dash, omega P2 dash. So why I'm writing it as omega P2 dash is because there is a pole at P2, there is a pole corresponding to second stage at omega dash. So this is omega so and so. So that is decided by R2 and C2. So if you want to write what is omega P2 dash, it's actually equal to 1 over R2 C2. R2 C2. Similarly, if you want to write it for the differential amplifier stage, of course, which doesn't have any coupling capacitor at all, so this is going to have a frequency response which is having a gain of AV of the differential amplifier, and there is a cutoff frequency. This cutoff frequency is decided by R1 and C1. R1 and C1. So let me write it for both of them. Suppose if you write this is the frequency response of differential amplifier, and this is the frequency response. Of course, their frequencies will be different. Their frequencies will be different. So let me say this as omega T1. 1 second. Okay, assume that this is of differential amplifier, and this is of CS amplifier. So I got omega P1 dash, this is omega P2 dash, this has got a gain of AV of differential, this is AV of CS amplifier, so on. Now this is individual gains. So how does the overall frequency response, because you have the cascading of this, so this is followed by a CS amplifier. The cascading of, because you know that okay, there is a pole at omega P1 dash, there is a pole at omega P2 dash. How do we accommodate these two poles in this expression? So then I can write it as GM1 R1 divided by 1 plus S by omega P1 dash, and this is of differential amplifier. This is AV of two stage op-amp. So this is differential amplifier followed by GM2 R2. Now we can see it is 1 plus, I'm writing it in time constant form, 1 plus S by omega P2 dash. So we usually write it as okay, some A by 1 plus S tau. It is now S tau 1. So this is differential, and this is ACS. So this is like a 1 over S tau T2. So what is this tau 1, tau 1 and tau 2s? Tau 1 and tau 2s are 1 over the frequency, cutoff frequency of differential amplifier, and 1 over the cutoff frequency of the CS amplifier. This is of differential, this is of CS amplifier. So naturally, so what is the overall frequency response? What is the overall transfer function? Now it is GM1 R1 GM2 R2 divided by 1 plus S by omega P1 dash and 1 plus S by omega P2 dash. Since we have this okay, omega P1 omega P1 dash and omega P2 dash as the cutoff frequencies, I can write the pole zero representation of this. So since we don't have any zeros here, any finite zeros here, so I can write the S-plane representation of the entire two-stage. This is the transfer function of the two-stage amplifier. So I can write it as, because now this is, we are assuming that this has got lesser frequency. Let me write it as omega p1 dash. This is omega p2 dash, omega p2 dash. So this is the location of the open loop poles of the overall two-stage op-amp in S-plane. How about the Bode plot of this will look like? Bode plot of this look like the product of this and this. So when you're actually adding the product of these two things, suppose if I write it in a vertical plane, so let us assume that this is for AV of differential, and let us assume that this is AV of CS amplifier, AV of CS amplifier. This is a frequency response. This is omega, this is again omega. Let us assume that this is omega p1 dash, this is omega p2 dash. So what is the overall frequency response of AV of two-stage op-amp? Now it is going to have increased gain. What is the gain now? It is AVD multiplied by AVCS. Suppose if you're taking in terms of dBs, it is 20 log of this into this, 20 log of, suppose if this is 100, if this is 50, then 100 corresponds, okay, suppose if you say both of them are 100 in terms of volt per volt, it will be 40 dB, and this is also 40 dB. Overall gain is 80 dB. 80 dB will be the overall gain. So this is 80 dB, and you can see your first pole comes here, the second pole comes here. So this is 80 dB till this point. Then you can see the slope is of this is having first pole, which is having a slope of minus 20 dB per decade. This is another minus 20 dB per decade. You can say I'm just writing it as 3 dB down. This is also 3 dB down. We are assuming it. You can see now till this point there is no pole. There is a pole at omega p1 dash. Now the slope is minus 20 dB per decade. You can see there is one more pole at omega p2 dash. This is omega p2 dash. The slope actually now increases. You can see now minus 20 dB per decade. Here it is now minus 40 dB per decade. Now this is the pole zero plot of two-stage op-amp. This is the Bode plot, magnitude Bode plot of two-stage operational amplifier. So why you have this type of frequency response is because there is a pole due to differential amplifier, because we have two stages here. Because we have two stages. So one is due to a differential amplifier. There is one more which is due to a CS amplifier. So we are assuming let the gain to be AV of D and let the pole be. Now we are just assuming this is bit having lower frequency. This is having bit higher frequency. That's what is our assumption. So relatively when you write it, you can see this is bit far away compared to this. This is omega p1 dash. This is omega p2 dash, and corresponding to that we're going to have a cascaded version which will have a larger gain, and two poles are there. One is at omega p1 dash, other is at omega p2 dash. Okay, in the next video we'll see okay what is the impact of this on the performance of this amplifier.